Every modern empire builds its dominance on a singular resource. The 19th century ran on coal. The 20th burned crude oil. Today, the global architecture shifts directly into artificial intelligence, autonomous robotics, and total electrification. Yet the entirety of this technological progression bottlenecks at a single, highly reactive element on the periodic table. As seen in these standard lithium-ion cells, the physical limits of our hardware dictate the ceiling of our progress. The rapid transition to green energy is a structural vulnerability. By relying on a finite material for energy storage, the global economy has entered an architectural trap. This vulnerability is geographically concentrated. Here, across Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina, lies the Lithium Triangle, holding over 50% of the planet's liquid gold reserves. It is the site of a silent enclosure movement. Washington and Beijing are competing to secure exclusive access. Both capitals operate on the same historical logic. Controlling the raw inputs for global electrification grants the power to set the terms of international trade and security. While the technology driving global markets evolves, the geography and human cost of resource extraction repeat across centuries. In the late 19th century, industrial acceleration created an insatiable demand for natural rubber. The invention of the pneumatic tire, seen here on early factory assembly lines, turned remote tropical rainforests into immensely valuable real estate. European and American industrialists translated this sudden resource hunger into state-sponsored corporate monopolies. Executives and monarchs, most notably King Leopold II of Belgium, enforced strict, distant boardroom quotas on the extraction of rubber from the Amazon basin and the Congo. Meeting those quotas required systematic torture. Entire indigenous populations were enslaved and mutilated, bearing the catastrophic human cost of an empire's need for raw materials. The structural lesson remains intact. When a breakthrough technology creates a strict dependency on a single resource, empires destabilize borders and monopolize supply chains, absorbing any collateral damage required to secure the input. Today, white lithium brine takes the place of natural rubber. Lithium cannot be dug out of the earth with heavy machinery. Instead, it rests beneath these desolate, high-altitude Andean salt flats, dissolved in ancient, underground saltwater aquifers. The extraction process relies on grueling chemical realities. Millions of liters of mineral-rich brine are pumped to the surface and distributed across massive evaporation pools. It takes 18 months under the unyielding sun for the water to evaporate, leaving behind a concentrated chemical sludge. Refining a single ton of lithium requires evaporating over 2 million liters of water in one of the most drought-prone regions on the planet. This massive expenditure hollows out local water tables, collapsing the ancestral agricultural ecosystems that indigenous communities rely on to survive. But extracting the raw lithium chloride is only the very first step. It must be chemically refined to be useful. Currently, China controls over 60% of global lithium refining capacity. As seen on this production line, they also hold an 80% monopoly on global battery cell manufacturing. By failing to secure the chemistry of refinement at home, the Western world has inadvertently outsourced the entirety of its future energy infrastructure to a single ideological rival. This asymmetric dependency on Beijing has triggered a quiet panic across Western intelligence agencies. The extraction fields of South America are now classified as high-priority national security assets. The counteroffensive originated from the United States Capitol in the form of massive protectionist legislation. The Inflation Reduction Act acts as an economic shield, systematically blocking any electric vehicle containing Chinese refined minerals from receiving lucrative domestic tax subsidies. This legal maneuvering traps the nations of the Lithium Triangle. Their governments must choose between surrendering their natural wealth to foreign monopolies or facing immediate crippling economic retaliation. In response, a sudden wave of resource nationalism has emerged. Nations like Bolivia and Chile recently declared lithium a strategic national asset, tightening state controls and demanded massive equity stakes in all foreign extraction operations. Superpowers historically do not tolerate resource hoarding by smaller states. When vital supply chains are threatened by local sovereignty, covert regime destabilization typically follows close behind. The era of a seamless, globalized high-tech economy is over. It is actively fracturing into isolated, heavily guarded supply chain fortresses, completely separating Eastern and Western industrial pipelines. The modern citizen is caught between these two realities. As we've seen in the Lithium Triangle, the physical world is easily gatekept, monopolized, and seized by states. If you rely on physical labor or raw commodities, you are trapped within the machinery of this enclosure. Just as China secured its power by mastering the chemistry of refinement rather than just owning the salt, survival now requires moving up the value chain. You cannot outwork an algorithmic supply chain with physical labor. You must build personal intellectual leverage. This requires transforming raw economic data into highly structured, repeatable digital assets. By moving from a knowledge magnet directly into a system operating template, you insulate yourself from physical market volatility. You turn information into the refined product. The struggle for the 21st century focuses on the digital signal. In a world defined by physical enclosure, constructing a sovereign digital framework creates the only leverage capable of surviving the transition.